Okay, welcome to a special Saturday edition of The Ordinary American. This is the Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin edition. We are going to do a short 15 minutes on the practical side of Bitcoin. We got a couple of requests for this, so we thought we would get on here on Saturday and provide it. Bitcoin, as you've heard me say on the show, is freedom money. It's extremely important. Every American, certainly every freedom-loving American, needs to understand Bitcoin. We don't all have to understand the super technical aspects to it, but we do need to understand it. Okay, so we'll do 15 minutes. We're going to skip over the technical stuff. We're not going to talk about Satoshi. We're not going to talk about hash rate. We're not going to talk about the nodes. We're going to talk about the practical side. How does it affect an ordinary American, and why should I be aware of it or buy it? Here we go. Not financial advice. Who am I? I'm just an ordinary American behind or in front of a great flag. I love my God. I love my family and my country. I'm not financial advice. Hopefully financial entertainment and some financial information. And then you go do your own work. All right. Bitcoin is a secure, decentralized protocol that helps us get value from one place to another place without permission, solving two problems: the control and trust problem and the money printing problem. Okay, now let me get into that. It's a decentralized, secure protocol that moves value from here to there, and we don't have to ask permission. I can go right now if I wanted to and send you Bitcoin. If you had an address, I could send it to. All I need is my seed phrase. Think of that as a fancy, super long password. And I can send it anytime, anywhere. I don't have to ask a bank. I don't have to call anybody. In fact, there's no one to call. I just send it. You can start to see why that might be important. So let's switch to the two questions. It solves money printing and control and trust problem. I'm going to do the second one first, and then the first one second. Control and trust. Do you remember when the Canadian truckers had Trudeau, Castro's son, take away their bank accounts after they protested the COVID nonsense? That's the control and trust problem. That's it. We can't control government and we can't trust them. Why? Because as the founding fathers said, men are not angels. When they get that much power, they're going to do things. Because I can send Bitcoin right now, today, Saturday at 4:35 to anyone I want when banks are closed, I don't need them. If you remember, Trump, he had his bank account taken. That's the trust and control problem. There were plenty of Bitcoiners who during the Biden administration, because the Biden administration was afraid of Bitcoin because they can't control it, they debanked, they took away people's ability to access the banking system. That's the control and trust problem. Bitcoin relies on none of that. It only relies on math and cryptography. The first part was the money printing problem. The government can print money whenever they want, and they have. The value of our dollar has decreased in its purchasing power about 97 to 98% since 1971. That's a lot. Essentially, almost all of the purchasing power that we had in dollars in 71 has gone away. Why? Because the government prints more money. We're not going to do macroeconomics, but that's the cause of inflation. That's largely the cause of the wealth gap. Because we can't trust or control government, they can print whenever they want. That helps certain segments of society more than others. Ordinary Americans are not often helped by it. Because they can print whenever they want, that destroys the value of our money. Bitcoin has a finite supply of 21 million, never any more. Nobody can print more, nobody can create more, nobody can mine more. There's no board to go to, there's no person to see, there's nobody to lobby, there's no CEO. It's math and cryptography. They can't print more. Nobody can make more, which means that the value stays with it, which is why if you do an analysis of the value of your house in fiat dollars, US dollars, and Bitcoin, you'll see that over time, the dollars rise and the Bitcoin falls. Okay, that's a quick overview. The decentralized secure protocol allows us to get value from here to there without permission from anybody. It solves two problems. The money printing problem, because it has a finite supply of 21 million, no one can make any more. They can't inflate the value away. And it solves the trust and control problem largely because of the finite supply and the decentralized nature and the fact that we don't need any permission to do it. Okay, the next thing to get to is the value. How does it have value? Some people say to me, hey, it has no intrinsic value. And I have to say, you got to remember back to economics. The Austrians do the best work on money, I think, or at least they're on the Mount Rushmore of people who do the best work on money. Money has value, or anything has value, because two people agree it does. And think about your house. I want to sell my house. I got to put out a price, but then somebody else has to agree to buy it at that price or a different price, and then I have to agree to sell it at that price. If they all of a sudden put 50 houses in my neighborhood, that's going to probably devalue my house. That's money printing. And now what I think is the intrinsic value has changed. Bitcoin has value because two people say it does. The same reason the US dollar does. It's really not more complicated than that. It's super heady and you can get all into it, but if you just think about that on your own, money has value because two people say it does. Bitcoin has value because two people say it does. So it's going through price, it's price discovery is what they call it. It's super volatile. Why? Everybody's trying to figure out what it's worth. Super volatile. I mean, if you want to own Bitcoin, it's less now, but certainly even just a few years ago, you had to change your underwear like every 5 minutes when you look at the price. It was crazy. Again, I'm skipping over a lot of the technical stuff about the protocol itself and the secure nature of the network. That might be for another show. The practical side. I should own Bitcoin because I need a hedge against money printing and governments I can't trust who want to control me. That's the practical version. I should own Bitcoin because governments are eventually going to print money into oblivion and they want to control me and I can't trust them. Not crazy conspiracy, just historical fact and human nature fact. So that's the practical side. That's why I should have it. It's a hedge against those things. It's a hedge against inflation. It's a hedge against bad government. It's a hedge against bad policy. It's a hedge against corruption. It's a hedge against these things. It is super volatile. If you believe like I believe that it's basically going up like this, but up, then you want to own Bitcoin for those reasons. I'm watching the clock. We're going to try to do it in under 15 minutes. So you can buy Bitcoin yourself. Yes, you should probably own it in cold storage or some version of cold storage. We're going to skip that for today. We're going to move on to two other ways you can own or have exposure to Bitcoin. Strive and Strategy, two separate companies. Strategy is the bigger company. Strive is the smaller company. Strategy's ticker symbol is MSTR and the CEO is Phong Le, but the chairman is Michael Saylor. Strive, ticker symbol ASST, the CEO is Matt Cole. And he has a couple of guys working under him, Ben Workman, Jeff Walton, and others who have been in the space for a long time and very smart. Those are what's called digital treasury companies. MSTR Strategy is the biggest one. They've been around doing this since 2020. The company's been around since, I believe, the mid-'80s. Michael Saylor decided Bitcoin, Bitcoin is either going to be something or nothing. He took all the cash from his company, about $250 million, and he bought Bitcoin. And then in real time, over 4 or 5 years, he iterated like a AI, like a crazy human AI. And you could see it in real time, learning, figuring things out about money, about Bitcoin, about markets. Where he has landed now, after a series of experiments, is he produces what's called digital credit, perpetual preferred stock. The one we're going to talk about is STRC. You've heard me talk about this on the show before. That is a perpetual preferred credit designed to trade at $100 or thereabouts, very close to it, and it pays today an 11.5% dividend. The company can move the dividend up or down depending upon if the price is higher or lower than $100. How does it work? Michael Saylor believes that Bitcoin is going to appreciate, on average, 30% a year for the next 20 years. He's willing to trade with us. If you're buying STRC, he's willing to trade with us. What he is saying is, I, Michael Saylor, will take the risk and the upside, and I will give you, the owner of STRC, 11.5% a year. I'll take the upside. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million tomorrow, I get the upside. You get 11.5%. But if Bitcoin goes to $10,000, I take it in the teeth and you get the 11.5%. He does have a cash reserve of more than a couple of years to pay the dividends. And then he's way over collateralized, but that's the product. ASST is a much smaller company, but they have a similar product called SATA, S-A-T-A. That company does the same thing. Both of them, I should have mentioned this. They sell those products in the market and take the money and buy Bitcoin. MSTR has 760-ish thousand Bitcoin, and ASST has 14,000-ish, I think, 13,000-ish, 14,000-ish Bitcoin. And then, so they sell digital credit, SATA for ASST and STRC for MSTR. And they trade a steady interest rate. SATA pays a higher rate, 12.5%, I think, and MSTR pays 11.5%. Both can change that number depending upon the demand. And the idea is that you're going to be able to get in and buy it around $100 and sell it around $100, no matter when you buy it and sell it. And so all you're doing is collecting the interest. By the way, the interest is tax deferred. So you pay no income tax. You pay capital gains tax when you sell it. Okay, so those two companies offer common stock and then that digital credit. MSTR has other products that hit other parts of the risk totem pole there. Food chain, ASST has that one product. They're going to change, and they are changing, personal finance and credit investing. If you've paid attention to credit investing, which most people don't, but there is a real concern right now that private credit at the sort of corporate level is not doing well, and that the funds are having a real problem. ASST and STRC are the solution for that problem. You can sell it any day, buy it any day. It stays steady. They both have cash reserves to pay the dividend, and they both take the proceeds and buy more Bitcoin, growing the Bitcoin. Again, if you don't like Bitcoin and you don't think Bitcoin is something that's real, then neither product is probably for you. But I believe Bitcoin is real. I believe, like Michael Saylor said, it's something or nothing. I think it's going to be something. By the way, C.S. Lewis said a similar thing about Christianity. Christianity is either nothing and it's not true, or it's completely and totally true, and it's the most unbelievable thing in all of human history. I think Bitcoin is similar. All right, that is the very quick and hopefully somewhat comprehensive, practical view. It is a buying Bitcoin and holding it yourself as a hedge against corruption, government, money printing, all of that. And I can use it without permission. That's probably a good place to start. The other companies that I mentioned, they're what you would call amplified Bitcoin. You're going to get higher returns if you buy the common stock, but also bigger dives if you buy the common stock. You can not buy the common stock and just buy those perpetual preferred stocks and get stability. It's not complete stability, but they're working on it and they're getting it there. So it's pretty darn stable, and you get an unbelievable interest rate that is tax deferred. My strong suggestion, it's not financial advice. Who am I? All the same things apply. Just a guy in front of a flag. If you have a fixed income portfolio, swap some of it out for ASST or STRC. And just see, buy some and see how it feels. And then once we buy it, we tend to look more into it and review it. All right, that is the show. We just wanted to do a quick one. Appreciate you joining. If you liked it, if you got something for it, send it to somebody, your dad, your mom. Let them know about Bitcoin, STRC, and ASST. Freedom money. I'm rooting for you. Please root for me. We'll see you on Monday.